All right, welcome to practice. We're going to start with your feet fairly wide on your mat. As you inhale, you're going to reach your arms up. And on your exhale, hand over hand as you bend your knees, and you're going to come all the way down, keeping your feet wide enough so that heels are underneath of your knees. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale to bring it down. Keep going, reaching up. An opposite hand over hand. Just a couple more like this. And you want to feel that you are like really pulling in as much air as possible. And then pushing it out as you press down. Stay down low, and maybe you rock from side to side. Maybe you lift one heel off the ground. Just feel out how your lower body is doing today. I want to straighten out one leg at a time. My floor is really creaky in this spot. So side to side. And then come back to this squat position. Letting your hips drop and bringing your hands together now in front of your heart so that your thumbs touch and your pinky fingers touch. On the inhale, you're going to press yourself up or fingers up to the sky. Hands go wide as you bend your knees and come back down. Ends of the hands touch, fingers reaching up. And then down. And I want to, in this transition, really focusing on exhaling. Hold the air out. One more. Coming down, and one more reaching up. And then step yourself to the top of your mat with your hands by your side, and you can have your feet hip distance apart. Actually, I'll make this the front of my mat. Face the last of the sun before it goes down. So feet hip distance, knees a little bit bent. On the inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, dive forward and fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, step your left foot back. Take your left knee to the floor. Right hand to knee, left arm comes up, stretch up tall and reach up and over to the right. Take an inhale, reach up to center. Exhale, up and over to the right. See if you can drop your hips a little more. And then one more, reaching up. You can almost pull your hip back and then sink into it. Now as you inhale, lift up your back knee, and then you're going to reach your left hand forward as your right hand sweeps back. We're going to think of Superman now. I had no intention of going into Superman, but it feels appropriate. So press into the right foot and reach. Here we go. Superman. We're transcending this reality, and we are Superman or woman. Yes. Take an inhale, and then exhale. Take your feet side by side and just fold. Inhale to halfway lift, lengthen your spine. And the other side, step your right foot back. Drop your knee to the floor. Left hand to the knee, right arm comes up towards the sky. Stretch up tall and reach up and over to the left. Reach up and out of your waist as you stretch. Then inhale and reach up to center, almost like you pull back on the hips. And then when you exhale, you're going to drop the hips and reach over. Inhale, back it off. And then exhale, dropping it. All right. Then inhale, lift your back knee, and Superman other side. Right hand forward, left hand back. Inhale, lift off and fly. It feels very Superman-ish. I think, is it? I think so. Keep reaching, pushing, even make a fist. Feels appropriate to make a fist right now. This is yoga, Sarah. Reach, reach, reach. And then feet to the floor and fold. Okay, inhale, reach up, push into the feet, look up. And the hands come to your heart. Remind yourself you're a peaceful being. Relax your shoulders. Inhale, reach up to the sky. And exhale, dive forward and fold. Halfway lift. Lengthen your spine. Step your left foot back. You can keep your knee off the floor, touch it down. And we'll do one more of these. Left arm up. Lift up and over to the right. So now this might be a chance to take your right fingers to the floor. See if that's appropriate for you. Stay for the inhale, and on the exhale, left hand plants below the shoulder, lift the back knee, and reach your right arm up. Take an inhale to stretch up, and when you exhale, a downward facing dog. Drop your head. Then inhale, come forward to plank, and exhale back into a downward dog. And do this a few times. Forward to plank, back to down dog, forward to plank, back to down dog. I like to think of an inhale to bring me forward, and the exhale is what takes me to downward facing. One more cycle, and then land in a downward facing dog. Lift up your right leg so the back of the heel lifts high to the sky. And then on the exhale, take a step forward with the right foot. Plant your left heel, left foot to the ground. Sweep your arms forward and then up for warrior one. Warrior one. Take your left hip forward, reach up towards the sky. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, tip forward with your arms reaching back. And if you want to clasp your fists, go for it. I'm not angry. I'm good. I'm peaceful. Lift your chest. Pull your arms back. And on the inhale, you're going to come up to stand in mountain's pose. So left foot plants and arms by your sides. As your arms come up, take the palms of your hands and face them towards the wall or the space behind you. And as you exhale, bend your knees. Sink your hips down low. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, transfer the weight over to the right foot and left foot, and step your right foot back. Drop your knee to the floor. Left hand plants, reach up and over with the right fingers. Stretch up and over. And as you do this, take your tailbone towards the left heel, stretch. And then on the exhale, the right hand plants, and you can twist left arm up to the sky. Reach up, look up, and on the exhale, a downward facing dog. Travel forward to plank, and now we're going to go from side to side. Roll your feet over to the right. And lift your left arm up. And then exhale back to plank. Lift the heel, roll over. And the right arm comes up. And do this from side to side a couple more times. Adding on additional movement if you wish. If you want to bend the knees. Or if you need to drop your bottom knee, go for it. And finish it off so that you're balancing on the left hand last. And we'll come back to downward facing dog, lifting the left leg, back of the heel, high to the sky. And a step forward into warrior one. Back heel connects. And your arms stretch up. Reach up. Taking the right hip forward and left hip a little back. Reach up to the sky, and then on the exhale, tip forward with your chest, spine parallel to the mat as your arms reach back, and fly into airplane. Lifting the right foot. Arms reaching back, lowering the right hip slightly. Activate both legs evenly, and slowly you come to stand, feet side by side, hands facing forward. Inhale, arms up, hands like they high five behind you. Take your hands wide if you need, and then bend at your knees. Take your hips down low. Palms like they want to face the wall behind you. Lean back into the heels. Take an inhale. And then exhale, airplane now. So we're gonna take, the left foot back, airplane. And then we're gonna inhale back up to sit into a chair and then change other leg, airplane. So we're just going to transition from leg to leg. And I like to exhale into airplane and inhale back to center. Side to side, fluid motion. Watch the rotation of your shoulders from when you come up into chair pose, Utkatasana, or when you go to airplane. Side to side. And we'll do one more on each side. If you don't know which side you started with, it's all good. Back into the chair pose with both of your knees bent. Sit down low. Take an inhale, your arms reach up. And then on your exhale, forward fold. So here's your choice. Stay in a forward fold. Hug your legs. Stay there. Or take your hands. I'll creep my toes back. Take your hands in front of you and start to find crow. So where your knees come to the back of your arms. You look forward and you lift your toes. And you balance. And you breathe. Stay here for 3 or 2. And then either step, hop, or extend back to high plank. And on your exhale, lower to the ground slowly. Right down. Okay, so from the ground, take your shoulder heads back. Fingertips push down, little cobra, lift, and then lower down. Second time, inhale to maybe push away the mat, go a little higher, and lower down. Last one. We want to come all the way up. Keep your shoulders down. And then exhale and lower to the ground. Take your hands further back, maybe like to the bottom of your rib cage. Hug your elbows in close to the torso. Look down, keep a neutral neck. Lift the left leg, and then lift the right leg. So opposite side. Now, as you sort of like do this leg flutter from leg to leg, start to lift your hands off the floor. And if your wrists feel strange, like awkward, then flip your palms up. Keep your elbows in close to the torso. And if it becomes really difficult, rest the opposite leg and just lift it a little. Feel your body. Where are you at? You need to keep your hands on the floor even. I had some weird lower back stuff happen earlier this week, last week. I don't even know. The days are blending. But just make sure you listen to your body. Strengthening, actually, the low back. That's what this is all about. One more time on each leg. And then press your feet down to the floor. Take your hands back under your shoulders and take your shoulder heads back. Now we're going to push up either into cobra or an upward facing dog. You want to lift all the way up. And then transitioning into a downward facing dog. Let your hips move. Let your head drop. All right, now take your right leg up towards the sky and take a giant step forward into a low runner's lunge. Take your fingertips forward and float the left leg. Transitioning to half moon, where you can keep your right fingers on the floor. You can also take your right hand to your right thigh or knee and eventually lift your left hand up towards the sky. Keep your left leg super alive, like just wake up your foot so much. And then stay here for 3. Breathe for 2. And start to bend your right knee. You want to step the left foot back quietly for warrior 2. From warrior 2, side long angle, right elbow to knee, and left arm overhead. Now you can take your right hand like you're holding a tray, and with your elbow bent and even floating off your knee, see if you can keep your hips down low. You can also extend your right hand forward. Your left shoulder back, look up. Stay for a full breath in. And on the exhale, look down. Lift your back heel and float over into side plank on the left hand and left foot. Lift your right arm up. Maybe you want to look up. This is all about strengthening the core body. So see if you can really keep your hips lifting up as opposed to dropping and dumping into your shoulder. Look up towards the sky maybe. And if it's too much and you feel a bit shaky, baby, then drop your left knee below your hip. Lift your right arm up. Stay for 3. Breathe for 2. And on 1, a downward facing dog. Inhale, travel forward to high plank and lower halfway to chaturanga. An upward facing dog, peeling the shoulders back. And a downward facing dog. Lift up your left leg and step it forward into a low runner's lunge. Fingertips in front of you, and then lift the back foot. And we move into half moon on this side, so keeping the right hip lifted. Lift your right hand also. Activate your right foot. And as you do this, really make sure that that right foot is alive. You can take your left hand to your thigh or to your knee, or you could just have your feet or your arms reaching apart. Keep the right foot lifted. Use your core body and breathe. Stay for 3. Breathe for 2. And slowly stepping back into warrior 2 pose. Arms reach apart. Sink your hips down low. Left elbow to knee, right arm comes forward, side long angle. As you reach your right arm overhead, float your left elbow off of your thigh or knee and just keep your whole body as it was. You can also extend your left hand forward past your toes. Stay here. Counting on your legs, using your side body, and breathe. Again for 3, for 2, and then look down. Side plank on this right hand, right foot. And left arm comes up to the sky. Maybe you look up. Whatever alterations that you have to make, you can drop your right knee to the floor. If it's too much, you can also just stay where you are. Make sure you're breathing. Lift the left hip up. Lift and hold. Steady, steady. 2 more breaths. And then exhale a downward facing dog. Come forward to high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And back to downward facing dog. Look at your feet. Notice they're hip distance apart. And let your knees be bent, maybe generously, but walk your hands back to your feet. And then settle your hips down low. Okay? From here, take your right hand below your heart. Keep the bend of the right knee, but straighten out the left leg and reach your left arm up towards the sky. Take your left hand around your back. Maybe hook it around your right thigh or just let it rest on your low back. And then from here, let your knees, both knees bend. So just a different way of getting into a twist. Right hand meets in front of your heart as your left arm stays back. Keep your head above your heart. Knees are level. Take the right hip a little back and twist for 3. Breathe for 2. And then 1, straighten the legs and fold, switching sides. Left hand below heart. Bend your left knee and reach your right arm up. Right hand around your back. And you can hook your hand into the left thigh. Now noticing the bend of this left knee, the right knee is also going to bend like that. When the knees are level, take your left elbow outside your right knee and twist. Maybe you look to the side, hand is in a prayer, half prayer, and then look at your knees. Are you way off? And if so, maybe ungrip your hand. Stay for 3. Left hip back for 2. And 1. Fold forward. And separate your feet wider. Let your hips come down low. Settle here for a breath or 2. We'll go into another version of crow. They call it crane, actually. So you keep your hips low. Your hands are shoulder distance apart, and you lean forward. Keep your hips low and see if you can lift your toes off the ground. Keep your hips low, not high. And then set your feet back down, hands to prayer. Inhale to push away the floor, reach up towards the sky. And then stepping your feet together with your hands at prayer, big step with the right foot forward. Low lunge, drop your hips, high lunge really. Crescent lunge, arms reach up towards the sky, and then exhale, twist to the right. Hands meet in prayer. So just some words of wisdom here. Fake cheese doesn't digest any easier than real cheese. That's what I think. Hands meet together in front of your heart. And then on your exhale, a standing split, meaning the left leg lifts and you fold, bringing your forehead closer to your right knee. Lift the leg. And then your feet come together. Bend your knees. Sweep your fingers up towards the floor or sky. Bend your knees. Sit down low. Take an inhale. And dive forward fold. Inhale halfway. Lift, lengthen your spine. and either hop or step back to high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and a downward facing dog. Take an inhale. On your exhale, walk your hands back to the point where you can balance in crow. Knees to elbows. Elbows meet knees. Lift your toes. And then set your feet back on the floor. Fold forward. Let your hands come around your legs. Drop your head. And then push into the feet. And unravel, uncurl the spine, come up to stand, lift the shoulders, and then drop them down. Palms forward. Taking a step forward with the left foot now. High lunge, arms come up towards the sky, sink down, low into your hips. Gather your hands in front of your heart and twist to the left now. Twist. Gather your hands to your heart, straighten out your back leg. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Exhale, standing split, lifting the right foot, folding, dropping your head. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take another inhale. And then step both of your feet together. Bend your knees. Sink your hips down. Lift your arms up towards the sky. Sitting into a chair. Squeeze your knees together. And fold on the exhale. Inhale to halfway lift. Lengthen your spine. Upper step back to plank your chaturanga. Lower halfway, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, walk your hands back halfway to your feet maybe so that you can do it again. One more time. Crow. Knees to elbows. Elbows to knees. Lift your toes and fly. Push away the floor. Look in front of you, not back, otherwise you'll fall on your face. One more inhale. Exhale, gently set your toes, then heels to the ground. Little squat. From this squat, you're going to drop your left elbow, lift up your right arm. And if you have really Gumby-like arms, which I don't, you can wrap your left arm around your knee and you can sit your hips down. So you can do it this way, or you can do it underneath of your thigh. So 2 ways you can do it, your choice. Eventually bringing your fingertips closer to your groin. You can also take this sort of half twist and then change it up and go to the other side. Left arm up, right arm bends, or you do this Gumby arm bind. See if that works for you. And then exhale, bring your hands out in front of you. Inhale, walk your hands forward. High plank, chaturanga, lower halfway, upward facing dog. And a downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up, bend your right knee, open the hip. Start to roll to the outer edge of the left foot. You can start to move into side plank. Lift your right arm. Hold here. And you can also grab a hold of your right big toe if you want to challenge it and slowly step forward into a low lunge. Inhale, lift your chest, fingers stay down. And then on your exhale, bend your back knee and slowly straighten out your front leg. So you can turn this into a half split, where you keep your left hip over knee, hinge forward. You can also turn it into a full split if you are more flexible. Just keep your back toes tucked under. That's key. You want to add on, you lift up your hands, and that just adds to your core engagement, really. And then bring your hands back to the mat. Slowly walking your right foot back so that you can go into a different style of down dog, figure 4 down dog. So right elbow comes to the front of the left knee. Okay. On your exhale, drop your right toes to the floor, halfway to your face or your hands. Drop your back knee, then drop your right knee, and slowly come upright with your spine. Hands can come to your low back. You can look forward, you can look up. You can also interlock your fingers and make your way into this version of camel. Lifting your right arm up towards the sky. And then slowly coming down. So as you come down, lean your hips back towards the left heel. So you can stay here. This is a really nice stretch where you can even bend fully into the left knee and almost like a variation of a pigeon where you can stay here like so. If you want to turn this into an arm balance, inversion, you want to stand on your head. You keep your right knee and toes on the floor to start. And I'll just walk you through this slowly. So the top of your head would be at the top of an imaginary triangle, and your hands would be at the bottom of the triangle. So that's 3 points, right? As your back toes tuck under, you can lift your back knee and then eventually lift your foot and knee, other side, and you put it on your elbows so that you can float the left leg up. And then this is where you start to lift everything and you can play with your legs. And then see if you can slowly come back the same way you went in, and possible to lift your head off the floor while you're floating. Not today for me. Lift your gaze. And then slowly come forward onto your belly. Okay. So onto your belly, we're going to go into a little sphinx. Sphinx, elbows down, or seal, elbows lifted. And so the whole point of this is just to deeply stretch the front line of the belly. You can also lift your feet, bend your knees. Close your eyes even. Be sure that you can withstand the position for a full big inhale and exhale. And if you feel like it gets sharp at the top of the inhale or the bottom of your breath, then you need to adjust your shape. And let your elbows drop down. So the elbows are under knees and your wrists are directly forward in front of your elbows. Fingers fanned out. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips off the floor. Then walk your toes to a point where you feel like you are in an elbow plank. Effortlessly. Chest comes forward. And then on the exhale, lift your hips. Again, maybe just walking your toes a little bit. Dolphin. And we're just going to cycle that a little bit. So come forward to plank, and then back to dolphin, back into plank. So the real trick is that as you transition forward and then back into hips high, you don't want to shift your elbows or your hands. You don't want to have them slipping out or slipping in. And if they have, go back to adjusting them. Do 2 more. from hips high and your hands wide, shoot yourself forward to plank. Plank. Roll your feet, find a downward dog. If you want a vinyasa chaturanga, go for it. Left leg is going to come up now, and you're going to bend your knee and open your hip. Find the outer edge of the right foot. Keep lifting the knee up. Side plank. And then maybe you pull in your toe, grab a hold of it, slowly step it forward into a low lunge. Inhale to look up. And then on the exhale, it's a standing or half split or full split. So you either keep your right hip over top of your knee, or you either keep your right hip over knee, or you straighten out both your legs. Your choice. But wherever you go, if you lifted your arms on the other side, that's a lot of core engagement. Doing that if you want. Keep your back toes tucked under though, especially if you're in the full expression. And then a slow transition, taking your left heel back and finding a downward dog with the left ankle above the right knee. Take an inhale. As you exhale, left toes touch, so do your right toes and your left knee and right knee. And then you come up. Here is your camel variation. You can interlock your fingers behind your back. Look up. You can also drop your right hand to your heel. And then slowly coming down, bring your fingertips in front of you and lean back, hips to right heel. Great place to stay. If you did so on the other side, know you can do that here. Nice and slow. Staying in that pigeon variation. Or lifting yourself back up to have your hands on the bottom of the triangle and your head goes on the top. Back toes tuck, hands are shoulder distance, so are your elbows, so you kind of bring them in, and then lift yourself up. Lift your back right leg, and then go ahead and lift everything up. And then that's where you can play with your legs. And then see if you can very slowly bring yourself back to where you started. Maybe you can lift your head without your back foot touching down. And then you come back up with your gaze. I feel like let's just go into a downward facing dog. And we'll flush this out with a vinyasa. So come forward to plank, lower halfway chaturanga, upward facing dog, and a downward dog. Take a breath in. And on your exhale, bend your knees, look forward, hop, step, walk forward. And then go all the way on your back. Cross your legs. So fire log pose where you have your knees stacked together and you'd be sitting up straight. You're going to think about doing that, but on your back. So your hand is holding opposite ankle or foot, and you're just guiding your legs closer to your body. And then we're going to try and transition this in a seated manner. See if you can keep your legs fairly close together. And then allow yourself to come upright, straight into this seated. Sit up tall, and exhale. Come forward, drop your head. Just a couple of breaths here. And so everybody might have a different leg on top. So the leg that's on top, you're gonna twist towards that hip. So you can bring your elbow. If you're super flexible, this right hand can even maybe hold on to your right knee. You can just bend your elbow just to the left. And then as you look forward, hold onto your left big toe with your left fingers. Reach through your legs. Or yeah, you might have a different leg on top. So hold your top leg with your, just come into this pose. Boat. I really had no intention of teaching a class tonight. It just happened so magically. So you guys get me in fine form tonight, whatever it is for you. Lift yourself up and then tuck and roll back into happy baby. Bend your knees and bring your knees to the floor. I've been meaning to give you guys like a shorter class because I tend to do like all the other classes an hour long. So hopefully it's not an hour. It feels like it's only half an hour, but it'll probably be around 45 minutes. And then release your legs. Go fully down with your legs just for a moment, just to get blood flowing back through. Even if you want to, slap and bring to life the front of the hips, your groin. This feels like, I feel like I need to slap this area. Bring some life back. Okay. And then opposite side. So you got to remember what the legs were last time. So other leg on top, hold your feet. Other side. Stacking your knees as much as you can. If holding your feet is like absolutely not happening, hold your knees, preferably the furthest knee from you. If that still doesn't happen, you need to do more yoga. You need to do more of these classes. No, just kidding. Just kidding. You can, just hold your right knee if you need. Okay. Told you guys, fine form. All right, so let yourself rock up to sit. And then just enter it in seated. Take your hands behind you. Sit up tall. Just sitting there looking all pretty. And then allow yourself to just round over. One more breath. And then you're going to twist in the other direction. So sitting up tall, you can straighten out your bottom leg if this is too much. Twist. Same style, holding onto that bottom knee if you are flexible in your arms. And then we'll transition. So coming, did I counter twist? Maybe. Hold on to your other toe. And we'll go back into boat. Lifting the legs. And then tuck and roll back into happy baby. You can go all the way back till your toes come up and over your head. And then maybe you lift your feet up, up, up. If you have a wall behind you, you can try one leg at a time. Up, up, up. Try and keep your arms over your head. And then eventually uncurling. Shavasana. Take a big breath. Out through your mouth. Take another big breath. Through your mouth. And just close your mouth. Silent breath. And just let your whole body unravel. Any gripping, any tension. Not going to be here long. So just see if you can ungrip every part. Unclench. Or you can stay here longer, as long as you need. Otherwise, just coming out of it as feels right for you. I'm going to end the practice here. So namaste. Thanks for practicing.